So these will be the support things. Now coming to, let's start with the module one of the 7 module, which is presentation skills and PowerPoint mastery. Now in this, we have 5 agenda points. First is introduction to presentation. Then how should we present? There is a Greek way of presentation, which Harvard Business School always teach to their presenters. So we'll be understanding that what is that, Greek way of presentation, that we must have the mastery in that. Then 7 rules for effective presentation. Again, this is coming from Harvard Business Review. So one of their studies, they have done these 7 rules. So we'll be sharing those 7 rules as the one of our skill building process under this module. Then we'll be using very, very important component, and most likely this component will be used across all the modules, and that is the use of artificial intelligence in preparing your effective PPTs. Guys, this is going to be the future. If we are not using artificial intelligence in all of our professional work, then will be some point of time will be going behind, or stay behind. So we need to understand that, because we professionals, we as faculty, we as researchers, we will be very often requiring to have sort of PowerPoint presentation to communicate our ideas. And finally, the assignment would be there. What assignment we are going to do as a part of your this module certification, plus how it's going to support to your PhD work going further. So this is the agenda. Now let's come to the very first component, introduction to presentation. Why at all we need presentation? And it's all about communication. Let me start with a very basic thing. Okay, because when we talk about presentation, I repeat, healthcare professionals, they feel presentation communication is not very, very important. But imagine with your intellect, with your thinking process, with your cognitive abilities, if we can add this communication skill, believe me, that will be very, very important. Now, how this communication skill gets developed in a child, if we look to the basic communication theories or basic language and communication development in a child who starts understanding the communication process, it starts with listening. It's very, very important. Please take a note on this, and this skill is going to help us while we just make any of our presentation anywhere. Listening happens when we listen something from here around. There are huge amount of noise that happens around us, and here I'm talking about the child's language development, or sometimes we adults must have this kind of the process also. Once we listen something, then we start speaking, because in a child, when any kind of language development happens, then anything we listen, imagine if a child is listening the sound of a crow, the sound of any animal, then the child immediately start mimicking them. So listening immediately followed by the speaking part in the regular language development part. When that speaking happens, then next thing happens is that reading part. Now when speaking happens, people will be look around. Oh, this is the crow. It could be a picture reading, it could be a scenery reading, it could be a paragraph reading, it could be a vocabulary reading, it could be anything. So reading doesn't essentially mean that you are reading a paragraph. It could be reading the room, it could be reading a friend's face, it could be reading anything. So this is only adding to our understanding of a situation later, which is ending with writing as another component of communication. So this is the normal course of development of communication skill in a human body. It starts with listening, follows by speaking, then followed by reading, and finally we develop the skill of writing. Now, when we are doing our doctoral research, that means we have already developed a high level of communication skill, including cognitive skill. Now, how the communication skill better off for a professional presentation? It starts with definitely listening. We have to listen a lot to gather ideas what exactly is the situation and what exactly I'm supposed to do. Now, after listening, it is very, very important is the reading, because listening is not everything. Whatever you are now listening from me, that is not everything as far as your professional requirement is concerned. You need to go around, read a lot. That's why we always say that literature review, literature review, literature review, because reading will lead to adding quite a lot of things to your existing knowledge and existing thinking process as well. Now, after reading, then we start writing. Okay. So, why writing? If we read something, if we do not write, then conceptual framework building will never ever happen. Please keep this in mind. Sometimes what we do, some of the PhD student comes to us, they say that, sir, I have gone through 50, 60 literatures. Then what did you find? No, I have read that. I have simply copied that in my folder and it is there in Excel sheet. I have just put numbers. These are the things. But they have never read that paper from A to Z, even at least that abstract part. Even some of the students, they have read it, they have never mind writing it. If we are not writing, believe me, we are not developing that concept in our mind, which latter will create the base of our communication we generally do in speaking in different public space or different gathering that we need to talk about our PhD things. So here, one skill you must keep it in mind if you want to be that top 5% among experts. Anyway, you have been listening a lot. You are going to those conferences which are of interest to you. Then you gather quite a lot of knowledge. Second thing is that reading, and that's where the literature review plays such a huge role in the journey of PhD. If we are not reading, we are not gathering that information, and speaking only comes last. And speaking can not be very, very structured if you do not write those reading. So we'll understand those things in a very, very structured manner in our literature review part, or that, medical script writing. There will give you lots of tools and techniques how you can master in this sequencing of listening, reading, writing, and then whatever you get something, that speaking will be fantastic, whoever listen to them. So this is the difference between normal course of language development and language development for communication for a professional. Now with this, we'll go to few 5 areas what we need to be a good presenter. Okay. Now, first thing is your clarity and structure. And clarity, again, the previous slide, what I said you, listening, reading, writing. These 3 things must follow in that direction to develop a clarity. If we are not doing the between, this reading and writing things, take it in writing from me. I am just telling you my 25 years of research experience, clarity is never going to come. You will be confused, and during presentation, if somebody is making any statement, you get further confused and you agree to that, yes, I am going to do. When you come back, you do not know where to start. So to avoid such kind of things, please develop that clarity whatever you do as a part of your doctoral research. Now, while clarity and structure is concerned, where you need to develop your clarity. Now, there are 4 areas. Number one is you have to be very, very clear on your research topic and research area. Research topic, you must have seen the culture at DPU. Also, in other universities, they will be looking to your PhD topic, the title, multiple times. Why multiple times? If you are facing one external evaluator or external examiner, then the examiner will be interpreting your topic in a multiple ways, correct? And if you have not spent time to understand each and every word written in your PhD title, then clarity is not going to come. And if you have done this, you know exactly why you have kept the title just like that, then doesn't matter whether it is Bill Gates, whether it is Vice Chancellor of JNU, Vice Chancellor of Harvard Business School, doesn't make any sense because you are 110% clear what do you mean by that title. It's so important. If you start fumbling, you are not developing that clarity in the very first slide of your research, then it will make your life miserable. Please take it, and that doesn't require, a very in-depth knowledge. You have to simply spend time and, go through each and every word, then joining each word by a phrase. What does this mean? What you mean by this topic? But never ever said that my guide has said that keep this topic. You are the owner of your research. You are going to manage this research, so you have to have that clarity on your research topic and area from where this topic is coming. So this is first area of clarity you need to develop. Then second set of clarity you need in the areas of objectives and hypothesis. Sometimes we spend years. I have seen students when they are coming to defend their research, they are still fumbling why the particular objective is kept. After 3 years, 3.5 years of research, if that is the situation, we have to be asking this question to ourselves multiple times. Am I even eligible to do a research? Forget about, having that experts in top 5% of the world population who are working in this particular area. But I am something I have to ask this question to myself. If I'm not able to make somebody convinced about the objective, why I am working on this particular area, then it is not a very good professional sign that we are displaying among a set of people who are sitting in front of us and listening to our presentation. So please develop that clarity. Clarity, even if it's a very, very novel area, it's a very naive area of research, doesn't matter. If you carry that clarity, that itself will show your confidence, and your structured way of talking to people will automatically change. Then third area of clarity, which is must for the research, is your proposed methodology. Methodology is the backbone. It is the central nervous line of the research. If that goes wrong some point of time, then whole thing gets wrong. Even that is still okay if you have got that clarity in your methodology. But if the external or your guide, even anybody from any listener of your presentation, they ask something your methodology, you are not able to tell what does this methodology means, or you tell something, in response somebody is saying no, how come this methodology works, and you fumble, you are not able to defend that. That's a very, very sorry state of situation. We must avoid from that. So third level of clarity is needed on your proposed methodology. Doesn't matter if you are saying I'm simply going and asking 5 people, give me this. You say that 5 is my sample. Why 5? You should able to defend. Why I'm not taking 500? Why I'm taking only 5 people? This case you should able to defend to that. Why I'm collecting these cases from DPU hospital? If somebody is asking, you should able to give that answer. Why? Because external people will come and say that, your sample you are collecting from only DPU, it will be biased, it is not representative in nature, it is purposive, it's not, having that, probability distribution in that. Doesn't matter. If you are having the clarity why I have picked these 5 patients from DPU, you should able to stand to any kind of scrutiny across the globe. So that level of clarity is needed while you do the very basic things in past 6 to 8 months of your research. Then finally, your conceptual framework. We discussed on that day what is conceptual framework. So you must put all these things together, all of your variables, and develop a conceptual framework. Then you are got the clarity on that. Friends, believe me, if you have done these 4 things, you develop at least 70-80% clarity on these 4 areas, you have already finished your PhD in your mind. It's a matter of only time, get these things done and, put these, things together to just bind your PhD thesis. And publication and everything will just come automatically in between that. So please remember, number one, to make a very, very powerful presentation or communicating your research, you need to have this point number one, which is clarity and structure. Once clarity will be there, structure will come automatically. Let's move to the second point. Second point talks about audience engagement. So when we talk about audience engagement, so as I said in the beginning, we'll be getting quite a lot of opportunities to present our research, whether it's a mandate. Mandate means every 6 months you have to make a presentation to showcase what you have done. Then later, in between 3-4 conferences will be coming. That will be the opportunity to showcase how good you have done in those areas through your research. So these are the mandates and opportunities which will be part of every researcher's life. If we utilize them better, we can be a fantastic professional, because everybody will be looking forward to work with you because of the work you have done. So first and foremost thing, we must know that who are they to whom we are talking. Even if it is a 6 months uh, progress report presentation of your PhD, there must be some internal faculties, there must be some experts who have been invited from outside. So there may be anybody else. At least most of the time, believe me, we completely ignorant about who are the people who are coming to listen to my presentation. If I spend only 10 minutes asking, people who have been part of the committee, or you can just call to your guide and say, sir, who are there in this meeting, that itself will give you lots of, connecting dots, that how you'll be making your research in front of them. That is itself, works in a very, very positive manner, what we are going to talk. Then their background. Sometimes we say that we make communication, we make presentations for the other person's understanding. Sometimes if you know that somebody is coming from social science background and you are making a presentation on molecular biology, and you'll be talking all the technical terms, then definitely this person will never understand anything. Imagine there is a statistician who has come to ask you as external, and you are talking of all these things. Then the interaction or your time efforts is not going to be useful neither to you nor for those persons who have come to listen to your presentation. Okay, always feel that I am here to communicate effectively, so that that person at least understands what I'm just doing, so that I can connect and develop my network. Okay, but most of the time what we feel, "Arey, this is something I have to do. Let's go finish that, come back." Please do not do that. Please do not do that. I'm sure that those people who have signed up for this kind of program, for this training program, we are taking this very, very seriously to help you out. And this opportunity nobody gets. Imagine there will be at least 95% in the world who do not have this opportunity, just like you, to get registered for a doctoral program. So that's what you need to understand. Then we have to understand, know the areas of research that we are in. That's very, very important. The people who have come to listen to you, what they have done. If they have published any paper, are their paper connected to my research, or they are completely different? If Based on that, you can completely change the way you will be planning your presentation. And finally, what they love to listen, because everybody sometimes they want to listen something which is not very technical. Sometimes some people want to listen that how your research is going to help to the community, how your research is going to help to the society. Maybe some people who are coming, if you know their background, you know little bit about them, then this will also be answered. Sometimes we feel this is not important, but this is very important for this. So this is the second point, you have to keep it in mind. Then third point is the visual aids. And here again, medical professionals, we are so engrossed about the technicality of the subject, we often forget that whatever we make a kind of communication tool, we keep that as a, as a kind of non-communication tool. We put something is visible, and the people who are listening to you, they listen and or they understand completely different. So visual aids, which is the medium of communication, they are not at all the full communication. They are simply the medium of communication. Now, what you need to do under here? Make your PPTs clear and uncluttered. So I'm not going to discuss much about this. This is a very generic statement, but always keep that in mind. Headings. This is one area I need to talk to all of you. Please keep this as a thumb rule. This is a huge skill, believe me. I have worked in R&D section of companies like Novartis, companies like Novo Nordisk. I have seen people who are in regulatory department, medical direction department. I have seen one skill they have learned from corporate is that they make their headings clear and precise. Now, what is the skill we are talking about here? Now, imagine if you are presenting 10 slides. If you just pick up headings of each slide and write that in a copy first heading of your first slide, paste it in a Word document, go to second slide, pick up the heading of the second slide, put it into that paragraph. If you put 10 sentence from all the 10 slides, you will be beautifully get the complete gist of your whole presentation. What's the basic idea that you are going to present? People in biomedical research in pharma companies who are doing lots of research on drug development and molecular biology, they said these things to me. If you are able to do that, then you have done your presentation fantastic. So keep it in mind, your heading should be a statement. It should not be just like 2 page or 3 page words. It should be a statement. What does this mean as far as that particular slide is concerned? And it has to be precise. And if you add all the headings together, you will be getting that, for what purpose you are making that presentation. Then third thing as a skill you have to keep it in mind is that always follow this 70-30 rule. 70-30 rule is that, you know, most people, most people, they love to see the visuals. And visuals are 60,000 times better communicator than words. Words can be interpreted many ways, but the picture interpretation is limited when you see a picture. So 70-30 rule says your slide, any slide you prepare, 70% the space that is available in the slide must be utilized either for graphs, picture, or infographics, which are related to picture. And only 30% space must be used for any kind of vocabulary or words or any language that you would like to write. Please follow that, and you'll see that how your presentation will be vivid, and how lively your presentations would be. And I'm sure we are in such a profession that PPTs and all the presentation things we will be doing multiple times. Please ensure that even if you just look to current slide we are talking about, this slide is, you can see I am using 70% of the whole thing into pictures. Now what I have given multiple possibilities that you can make your slide as a part of your presentation. And in each and every slide, I am just putting here, you can see there are 12 slides, 15 slides in fact. Everywhere this rule 70-30 is applied. So that is the beauty of 70-30 rule. Now, what from where this 70-30 rule coming from? I'm just taking a little bit more time so that I can just give you that, idea, so that you can, take this skill as a, regular thinking process when you will be designing your own presentation. One Harvard study was done. They have a research question. That research question is that what people would love to see in a presentation, or what people would love to listen from a presentation or during presentation. So the research identified almost 40% people would love to see some kind of moving picture or stagnant picture as a part of their presentation. Only 20% the listeners or the viewers, they say that we love to listen at least something. Okay. Another 30% people, they said 30 to 40% people said they want some kind of kinesthetic activities during any kind of presentation, meaning you are using or engaging the audience by doing certain kind of activities. So this is the distribution. And we definitely, if possible, do certain activities. If you want to prove some kind of concept, give them something so that they will be busy in doing that. But those are very, very unlikely to happen given the kind of research we do and the kind of presentations we'll be making, keeping mind the research work. So now coming to that, maximum people would love to see some kind of visuals. So if that is the case, why will be crowding our presentations will too much of text number? What we do, we see something, copy paste and put it into that. Please spend some time, because you know what, the presentations you are making today, they will be there for you at least 3.5 years until you finish your PhD. And once you finished your PhD, some of the slides you keep using, because I assume that you continue your work, continue your research, continue your development of product or services, anything through that research or applying for patent. So that there also you will be utilizing this particular slide deck. So if something which we are going to utilize for many years, why will not spending some time, quality time in designing them? So follow this 70-30 rule and use a thematic color code. See, now you can see all the slides you can see in this slide deck. In this particular slide, it's all about public health research or biomedical research. You can see a color theme here. Medical is basically using blue, dark blue, or such kind of color code. So related to your research area, for example, you are working on cancer, it could be a pink color which will indicate going along with that particular research. Please understand little bit, because uh, that communication will make your efforts multiple, multiple impact in the minds of the people. So these are the four things you must keep under visual aids. Now going to the next fourth one, delivery of presentations. Sometimes as I said, we have to deliver it. And one thing which is not there as a part of the skills that you need to know, but sometimes we go to make the presentation, before going we feel that when this presentation is going to over. So before starting of the presentation, we are worried how the presentation will get over. Please take those stuff out of your mind. See that each presentation is an opportunity for you to showcase something that you are really working on. So do not keep that thought that how soon I should, I'm standing here, how should I just finish and go back and to my seat. Sometimes we feel embarrassed, but these are the things happen if we are not prepared, or the clarity of thought, clarity and structure is not there. Then only it happens. If The previous day we make our slide deck and rest 6 months we are not doing, then such kind of things will happen. And I sincerely advise to all of you, please do not do that. Now coming to the delivery, the understand the template of PPT. Each and every organization, they have a structure or template for PPTs. And if you go to our DPU kind of template, you know that they say it's 5, 6, 7. Your first should contain this, second slide should contain this, third slide should contain this. So those things are very, very important, because if some organizer are having certain templates, we must keep those things in mind before preparing those things. And if you have prepared in some other template, then take some time to transfer those things into the template which is given by the organizers or your university. Maintain the sequence. We have seen in many presentations, at least every month I am watching at least 10 to 15 PhD presentations, and I in 80% of the cases, students, they struggle to maintain the sequence is not being maintained. So that creates a little bit of irritation to the people who have been listening to you. So that is another area you must be very, very careful about. Then mixing with lots of language, font. Language means, I mean, here is the font. Sometimes we copy something from one source that has got a different font. We copy something from our another source, it has got another font type, another font size. We write something, it has got another font description. The slide looks very, very shabby. Please take care of that, spend time, because that reflects our own professionalism. Please do not do that, and take care of that. Then ask for a mic if your voice is low. Do not ever hesitate. I cannot speak very high. If there will be a mic, I'll be happy to use them. Please ask for them. If you want a presenter or a kind of, what you call that, as a highlighter, please ask them if I can get a highlighter. Or in those cases, if something you can manage by yourself, please keep something handy with you. Please carry them with you instead of asking. Mic you cannot carry, because that is something which will be arranged by the organizers. So that you can ask for. So this is the fourth point of preparing your presentation. Now coming to the fifth one, which is the practice. Now, practice is very, very important. Practice, I am not saying that, here and there you just stand in front of a mirror, practice. No, I am not talking at all about that. You will be having so much of presentation during your PhD, you will be getting enough of practice. Now, what I mean to practice is that practicing both preparation of your slide deck and thinking through the slide deck. First, work on an elevator speech. Now, elevator speech is something, there are some tools I forgot to put it, but if you have a pen and piece of paper, just note down what is an elevator speech. If somebody is asking you what kind of research you are doing for your PhD, if simply, being a PhD student, we will be getting these questions very often. And you will be surprised to know 95% students, they do not able to give a precise answer to that in a very, very, uh, uh, precisely, means in 30 seconds, 40 seconds, they are not able to make that, answer very correct. So first and foremost thing, I will make an appeal to all of you. Make an elevator speech. If somebody is asking what research you are doing, you should able to make that in 30 seconds. At least identify three critical words which will define your research in just 3 words. That's number one. Number two, you have to make 30 words to make at least, 3 sentences which will explain what exactly you do in your research. This is one thing I am requesting to spend time today only. Do this exercise today. Please do this exercise today. First is write 3 words which will define your research. Only 3 words. That's number one. Number two is that write 30 words in 3 sentences. One sentence will be having 10 words. Okay. One sentence will be having 3 words, sorry, 30 words, and 3 sentences will be having total 30 words. 10 words in one sentence, so 30 words. And if you read this sentence, 3 sentences comprising of 30 words, that should explain everything of your research. If we are not able to do this, that means we are still very, very naive in our own area. Please do that and this get by heart. Our organization asks, no, remember your mission, vision, and get it by heart. So do that exercise for your own research. Please, this is something which will you yourself will be finding this is such a good thing I have done. And when you will be talking about that, that is the practice I'm talking about. I'm not saying that make a PPT and practice in front of a mirror. That is all bullshit. Because you all are having so much of higher cognitive level of understanding. Going standing in a mirror is all immaterial. What is material, what is important is that creating that elevator speech, and the amount of practice you are going to do by doing this exercise, that will make you more clear about your work, and you will be precise as much as possible by doing this exercise. Okay, so if you have understood this skill, I have not put this particular skill in our toolkit for presentation or presentation toolkit, which you have received as a kind of referral document. I'll just try to add on that and resend that document to you. Then going further in practice, make a deck for 5 into 5 rule. What is this 5 into 5 rule? This is the second level of practice. If you are getting only 5 minutes to present your case, sometimes this is a very, very common use case in many meetings, that we just first few presentations, they go very fast. And you must be knowing, in last RR meeting, our honorable vice chancellor said that you take only 5 minutes in present it. Imagine if you have not practiced that, then you will be just showing a very, very dry face, saying that how come I have come prepared 20 minutes making all the presentation, and the now vice chancellor is saying that present in 5 minutes. And this situation is happening very, very frequently everywhere. So also it may happen to you as well. So 5 into 5 rule says make 5 slides. Keep practicing to make these 5 slides to be presented in 5 minutes. That is called 5 into 5 rule. So make second slide deck, which will be following this 5 into 5 rule. Now, after that, third level of practice, a rule, I call it as 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 rule. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 rule. This is related to our this Greek method of presentation, because it has got 5 major sections what you need to put in your presentation. So when we talk about 5 slides, as per our Greek way of presentation, we'll discuss in details about that later. But 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 means you have to spend 1 minute on slide 1, 2 minutes in slide 2, 3 minutes on slide 3, again 2 minutes on slide 4, and 1 minute on slide 5. So that rule is therefore is 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. So total 9 minutes. And 9 minutes, if you can plan, and it will be available in multiples of 2. Now, if you have got 18 minutes, then accordingly, it will become 2, 4, 6, 4, 2. So that much time you should allocate on each of the slides if you are having a kind of presentation. So in that case also, you can increase your number of slides. Yes, anything? Is there any concern? Okay, so that's a kind of 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 rule, which will give you additional time management while you make your presentation. during any kind of conference or any kind of review meetings or any kind of progress report of your PhD. Then always keep an eye on the stipulated time that is given to you. So don't miss that, last moment when somebody is saying that your time is over. Do not always cut a sorry figure in front of that. So if we can just have this kind of things, at least a elevator speech 5 into 5 and 1 2 3 2 1, then you are equipped with anything or any situation. Your presentation can deliver that. So this is what is the practice part of your presentation preparation. Now all these things together, we have put this into a very very structured framework, which I call it as a 5 into 4 matrix for making your communication platform. So all these things whatever we have discussed, those things are available here. If you look clarity and structure, those things we have already discussed. Audience management, also these 4 things we have discussed. Delivery, these 4 things we have discussed. Visual aids, we have discussed these 4 things. And as far as the practice is concerned, we also discussed these 4 things that will keep your presentation ready to have any kind of situation, to manage any kind of situation where you are making your presentation. So this is all about your first component of why you need a presentation. Just to brief, just to summarize, we talked about the rule 95. 95 says that if you have the TDC model, thinking, doing what you are already doing as a part of your PhD, but if you can just bring that C, which has got 70% impact of what you do for the society, for the world, those can make you top 5% of the people who are working on those areas. That's why it's very, very important to focus on communication part. Under communication, we have learned 5 major components which will help us to make our presentation not only looking good, but also we develop that much of clarity through which we can make it highly impactful in our audience, so that we can communicate them very, very clearly what kind of research we are going to do right now. So this is the end of our first component, what we have